Hey guys, what's up? I'm Mike Levitsky. Welcome to day 24. We've been doing this for 24 days. If you're just joining us, hit that subscribe button. Go back and check out the last 24 days. You're going to get some great lessons. Today we're going to be talking about dynamic levels, how to take a song from really soft all the way up to really loud. Guys, so as drummers, one of our jobs is to set the intensity level of a song. If you're playing in a metal band and you got like the guitar player and he's like got his volume cranked up to 10 and his distortion cranked up to 10 and the bass player's cranked up and he's got some kind of fuzz pedal on his bass and everything's just going to the max and you're just going like, that's not going to work. There's not enough intensity there. And vice versa, if you're in a band and it's like a coffee shop type band and the acoustic guitar is going and you got like somebody up in the front just singing real soft and you're back on your kit and you're about to play the song and you come in and you're like, you know, you're gonna blow everyone out of the water. And everyone in that coffee shop is going to be like, what is going on? So we need to make sure that we're setting the correct dynamics. Now, another thing that's important is a song arc or the dynamics within a song. And so as a drummer, you can really set the dynamic level of the verse and the bridge and the chorus. And songs should build towards something, right? We start a little bit low, we get a little bit more intense, we get more intense, and then usually when we hit the bridge, that's like the most intense point of the song. And so it's important as you're playing to know what the levels of dynamic intensity are and to know which level you're using and to keep in mind always, where is this song going? And do I have enough dynamics left in my range to take this song somewhere else? So you never want to give everything away too soon. Because if you start that song and you're at your max level, like that song's got nowhere to go dynamically. So the rules of today, or of this examples that or the examples that we're going to be playing are, you have to play the exact same groove. So it's just kick, snare, same hi-hat pattern, which is just eighth notes. And I'm not going to change the amount of notes that I'm playing. And I'm going to just use that as a way to grow these things dynamically. So let's look at these 11 levels. I'll give a small example, and then at the end of the video, I will play 4 measures of each intensity level to like some Apple loops that I just found in Logic and played along to. And you can see the intensity grow. So the first level is no kick drum, cross stick, and just a little bit on the hi-hat, 2 and 4. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. Just real simple. Or even just cross stick, 2 and 4. Or just hi-hat, right? Something going on 2 and 4, not much happening. Again, this is only 11 levels. There's a lot of subtle nuance in all of these levels, and you can dispute. So leave in the comments if you think I left one out that should have been added. But let's hear level 1. So level 2 is adding a slightly kind of feathered kick drum, eighth notes on the hi-hat, and I'm going to use the tip of the stick, and I'm going to be playing the top of the hi-hat cymbals, okay? And they're closed relatively tight. So that's going to sound like this. Pretty simple. Let's hear level 2. For level 3, I'm going to stay with the tip of the stick on the hi-hat, but I'm going to add the snare drum. And I'm not doing a rim shot. I'm doing just a nice, even stroke right in the center of the drum head. Kick drum stays the same. All right, let's hear an example of level 3. To add a little bit more intensity now, we're going to go to level 4. So now I'm going to start playing with the shoulder of the stick on the hi-hats. The tension on the hi-hat cymbals stays the same. I'm not going to loosen or tighten them in any way. Just stays the same. I'm just going to lower the stick. So now I'm using the shoulder of the stick on the hi-hat. Kick drum and snare drum stay the same. Level 4 sounds like this. Let's hear an example of level 4. For level 5, now here's where kind of the disputes come in, and you can leave in the comments if you think that I'm wrong, or this doesn't sound like it's getting higher, or this one should have been before that one, or, you know, every drummer is going to approach it a little bit different. But for me, level 5 is going to be the hi-hats just slightly open. So you're not like fully swishing them, you're just getting a little bit of sizzle. You want to put the weight of your left foot in your heel, and that way you can slightly lift your toes to get a little bit of a sizzle. You don't want to full on, just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to hit the snare drum a little bit louder and the kick drum a little bit louder. So here is level 6. Let's do an example of level 5. For level 6, I'm going to go over to the ride cymbal. So while I'm on the ride cymbal, you can do a lot of stuff with the left foot. You can keep quarter notes, which is what I did in the example. You can do 2 and 4 on the hi-hat. You can do eighth notes. If your left foot is not doing anything while you're playing on the ride cymbal, you are missing out on a huge part of playing the drums. So you want to get that left foot working. I'm just playing the ride cymbal right in the sweet spot, which is like directly between the bell and the edge of the cymbal, right? If we play too far out on the edge, the cymbal, it gets too excited and it makes too much sound. If you play too close to the bell, it makes kind of a tinny sound. So that sweet spot is right in between the bell and the edge of the cymbal. Bass drum, snare drum, relatively the same, maybe a little bit louder. All right, let's hear an example of level 6. For level 7, I'm going to add the bell of the ride cymbal in. So really driving that bell. The snare drum is going to play a little bit louder, maybe even approaching a rim shot. Nice and strong on the kick drum. Hi-hat still on 2 and 4. And we're using the shoulder of the stick on the bell, not the tip of the stick. So we get a nice, strong bell sound. So here is level 7. And let's hear an example of that. The next level, we're going to add an open hi-hat, like really just swish. All right, and you don't want it so open like that you can fit your hand in there. You're looking at maybe like a 1/4 of an inch, but you want those cymbals really jumping around a lot. So it's more intense than the slightly open one that we did. So you're going to really open those up. So almost like you're crashing the hi-hat. Now we're playing a rim shot on the snare drum. Kick drum's nice and hard. Let's hear an example of that. All right, we're almost to the full gamut. So this one now, the next level, we're going to ride on a crash cymbal. So you pick a crash cymbal that you have, you're going to ride on it. Hi-hat is going to be doing something. You can splash the hi-hat cymbals if you want, or you can just play quarter notes. Kick drum's nice and strong, rim shot on the snare. Let's hear an example of that. Riding on a crash cymbal sometimes can be difficult because the crash cymbal will start to go back and forth, and you might hit the cymbal, and then depending on the tempo, you're coming back to hit it again, and it might be here or it might be down, and so you end up with like a... So you'll have to really kind of play with your stick and how you're hitting that cymbal. Sometimes instead of playing into the cymbal, it helps to just play back and forth, which will keep the cymbal from rocking back and forth so much. So you'll have to experiment with your cymbals and the tempo of the song that you're playing. Let's hear an example of that with the music. Final level, you're going to crash the ride cymbal. Snare drum's going to be a rim shot. Hi-hat is going to be playing whatever pattern you want to play. Strong bass drum, and you're going to be crashing other cymbals along with it. This is like the most intense level that you can get. So that sounds like this with just the drums. Let's hear an example of that with the music. So if you start a song off like that, and it's not like a really hard rock song, it's just kind of a normal song, you know. For me, my context, I play a lot of like worship music at church and things like that. So if I start my song already riding on my ride cymbal, I've got nowhere to go. So think about your song before you start playing it, and think about the intensity levels of each part of the song and how you are going to shape that song through what you're playing. Make sure that you leave yourself room for the bridge, for the chorus. If it's got to drop down somewhere, don't start too soft. Start somewhere in the middle. So choose your dynamic levels appropriately. hope this lesson helped you out. I tried to give you some concrete ideas on different dynamic levels. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to think, well, I got to play a little bit louder and make this a little bit more intense. Like, how do I do that? I'm just going to hit the drums harder. Well, sometimes that works, but sometimes that doesn't. So we can shape the dynamic level by the instruments that we're playing, hi-hat, open hi-hat, crash cymbal, ride cymbal, bell of the cymbal, and we can really use that to make a song build in intensity or lower. Hey, if you liked this video and you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe to this channel, click that like button, and click one of these videos right over here, and they're going to take you to another great lesson that is going to help you out and help you to become a better drummer. I'll see you guys next time.